Hello everybody, it's Sandy here from the Curtain Boutique. I hope you're all doing well. So we now have the second part of our Palmets and Jabot window treatment, and we are now doing the roller blinds, which I said I was going to show you how to do. This is one of the smaller ones, which I'll show you because it's easier to show you on a smaller blind. So I've stiffened the fabric on the reverse side, so it's quite thick now and suitable for the roller blind where it's not going to sort of like move about. It's nice and stiff. So this is the stuff I'm using. It's called High Tack Fabric Stiffener, and it's very easy to use as it says on the tin. It really stiffens anything, you know, in terms of fabric. I applied it with a little mini roller, which I found the easiest way to do it. I had to sort of just leave it to stiffen up overnight, and the next day it was perfect. So all ready to go. So let me show you the next step. First of all, I'm going to find the middle of the actual blind. Now this blind has got to be 58, so I'm going to measure from the pattern on the left to the pattern on the right, and we've got 65, so we've got plenty to play around with, because I'm also going to use the salvage on the right hand side here. So this is the bottom of the blind, and I'm now going to do the sides first. I'm going to use this salvage on the left hand side here, and I'm going to fold it over and make sure that I bring a tiny bit of the pattern over, so that when you see it on this side you're not going to see any of this salvage. So I'm just only going to bring just a tiny piece. I'm going to pop a pin just on the bottom there for now, and then I'm going to make sure I follow my pattern all the way up, so you've got this little mark here that I'm following. I'll just pin it for now in place as far as I can sort of go. Just do one more. I think I can reach one more. Right, okay. I never would have been able to do this last year, guys, because I broke my arm, as you probably know from previous videos, and I couldn't do anything. It was a nightmare just doing that one again, because it looked like it wasn't straight. So I will iron along here, and I will now go from this end here and put my 58 centimetre allowance in, and then where the tape measure ends, I will fold over. That's much harder when it's stiffer. Let me just get this adjusted this side, and then we've got, okay, let's just try that. So we've got 58 there, and it's got to be dead on, so that will be fine. Let me pop a pin there so that doesn't move. So I just pop that pin there, and I'm going to go around the other side of the blind and just turn it over so that it's easier to do what I'm doing. So I'm going to turn this over and just kind of like eyeball where the pattern is, and then just kind of like give it a bit of a press with my hands. Go to the next piece. I'll just put 58 on the end here, and then I know I've got to bring it to the end there, so that will be in line with that. So let's get some more pins, and I will just pin that in place there. Okay. Now, I have balanced out my middle, so I have got my middle pattern with this setup. I'd already worked it all out that this was going to be, because I've used 2 drops in one width for these 2 outer blinds, so I was able to do the 2 blinds with 2 drops, which was about 4.5 meters of fabric that I needed, because these blinds are 210 each. Drop, which is very long. I don't think she's going to use them. I think she's just going to have them up and down kind of at intervals, but not all the way down. But I do want to obviously make them so that you can put them down. But just trying to lean over while I'm showing you what to do. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press each side, press it all the way down this side here. Then I will press it all the way down with the salvages. And then I will obviously cut this away and turn it under a tiny bit if I can. If I can't, then it will just have to be what it is, and I'll just overlock it or something. But we're using this special tape down the side, so there's no stitch lines down the side, it will just be tape. But there will be a stitch line at the bottom, obviously, when we put the bottom bar in, it will kind of be like that. And then I will machine stitch it across there, and then the bottom bar goes in the bottom, obviously. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to carry on with this. So let's get the iron and fire it up. Now while I'm doing this, I'm going to introduce a company to you who are brilliant. They are very helpful. They get things to you really quickly. They're very friendly. They're a lovely family business, and they're called Tulip Blinds. They're based in Ireland. They've given me these lovely roller blind kits for these blinds, and I will just show you how this works. So when we've done the roller blind, as in we've taken the sides in and we've done the bottom, put the bottom bar in, it's more or less ready to go. That's it, guys, that's it. You're not going to need to be doing anything else with it. They're so easy to make. So these these are really nice and sturdy, and they're really good quality. And this stuff here is a tape that will peel off, and the top of your blind will stick to this. You can use extra adhesive if you want to, but I haven't needed to because it's such good quality. Your chain will obviously go into this coggle piece here. This comes apart to get this in, but I'm not going to take it apart because I've just put it all back together again. This side, this little piece here goes on the side where you're not going to be winding it up. That just goes on one side. So I'm going to be putting that this side, I think. Yeah, because the other side is a left blind. I've got a right blind and a left blind, because the middle blind will be a right hand pull. The right hand bay blind at the side will be a right hand pull. And the left hand side blind on the bay window will be a left hand pull. So that you've got one on the left, one on the right. Obviously the middle, I always do it on the right anyway, because that's kind of like, you know, everyone likes things on the right. Most people do anyway. So what I'm going to do now, I've just shown you this, and I will show you how it all goes together, and I'll show you, you know, when we put it all up, how good it looks. But these kits are so good and so affordable. So if you want to get an account with Tulip, I will put the details in the description bar, and who you need to contact. But yeah, I thoroughly recommend them as a company. They've been very kind to me and sent me some really lovely products, which I'm obviously going to share with you, because I'm very, very impressed with them. Anyway, let's carry on. So I will just pull this, keep pulling it down towards me, and then I will just sort of like pull in where I was before with this pattern on this side, and then I'll carry on the other side. I'm now going to just show you how I'm going to do the bottom. So I've turned up a little bit and I turn it over just so that we can see what pattern we've got at the bottom, and then look at the other blind, which is going to go on the other side. This is the one that I've already done, and I just want to check what the pattern is on the end. So you've got this pattern here, so this is where we need to be with this one. So even a little bit less actually. That one is going to be, actually no, that isn't right. It's not right at all. Let's just move that down a little bit. May have to go to the next. Oh no, that looks okay. So we've got that. So what I'm going to now do is just measure how much I've got of the top of this little bit here, just so that I know I've got the same amount showing. Now that's 1.7, so we need to be 1.7 at the bottom here. I know it's a bit finicky, guys, but it's so important that you get it perfect. You know, you want your pattern to be exactly the same all the way around at the bottom of the window. So that's perfect. So okay, let's get that ironed before it moves, and then once it's ironed, I can then go along and do all the rest of it along, so that we know we've got, whoops, let's roll that back up again. It's got to be sorted out. Put the chain and the sidewinder and everything put on it, so we'll do that later. But now I'm going to go along and I'm going to make sure we've got the same amount showing all the way along, like 1.7. Obviously that one at the bottom needs adjusting, so it'll be about there. And then once that's all done, and I'm just going to measure it with my ruler, then go along and press it, and then I can turn under a bit on the outside, the inside rather, and go over it with the sewing machine, and then I can put my bottom bar in and it's all ready to go really. I mean, all I've got to do is do the sides. Just got to put the tape down the sides and make sure that they're all nicely tucked in and they're nice and flat and they look great. And then we'll be able to put the bottom bar in. So now I'm going to tuck some of this under and put some pins in. I'm only tucking a tiny bit under. I'm not making it too bulky. And because obviously this is where the bottom bar's going to slide in here, so that'll be perfect. Right, pins, where have they gone? Oh, I was losing my pins. Now I'm going to put little plain pins in along here, because if I go over these with a sewing machine, it won't matter. The sewing machine doesn't like the glass-headed pins, so, well, this sewing machine doesn't anyway, and I'm using this one at the moment because my other sewing machine is playing up a little bit and I need someone to look at it. Needs to go to the hospital and have a little bit of it probably just needs a service. You know, it's so important to service your machines regularly, because then you know, they're your power horses, do you know what I mean? You've got to, right, I'm just going to trim this back a little bit. Let's take that out. Yeah, it's always, you know, it's important to look after your machines, because they are the things that you rely on the most, and they have to be in perfect working order. I'm just going to give that a press there, because it's at the end. It's needs a little bit more of a, in fact I'm pressing all of it, because then it sits better. Okay. Do you think I should throw that pin away, guys? I'm just a bit pissed. Anyone that comes to see me who do curtains and things always say, why do you keep these pins, Sandy? They're all pissed. And you're like, well, they're okay so much. And then I don't like wasting things, you know. I mean, if they're really badly pissed, then I'll get rid of them. But, you know, If you can use them and they're not too bad, then I'll use them. But yeah. Okay, so that will now be sewn on the machine, which I will do now. Show you how I do that. Okay, so I'm now going to be putting the glue, or the little strip that goes in the side of the roll of lines. If this fabric was thinner, you probably would be able to do a row of stitching, but because it isn't, we don't do that. I'm not going to be overlocking this because this fabric doesn't actually fray, which is great. So all I'm doing is cutting it down, but first of all I'm going to be putting some this double-sided special tape that goes in, which comes with the kit. So I'm just going to literally roll it all out first. Now I'm on the last piece, so I hope I've got enough. I may not, I may have to use something else, but I think I'll have enough. So all I'm going to do is literally fold this back and place the actual tape just in front of the crease, so that you're not interfering with the crease line. So let's just do that. Flatten it out with your fingers, make sure it's really straight, and just keep going until you get to the end. Now, once you've done and you have to take this little layer off, and it's quite tricky, I'm not gonna lie. Ooh, sometimes it does it quite quickly, like now. All the way to the end, and then you fold in your side and get it right on the crease, and give it a really good press down, because this is what's going to hold it in place, and it's really secure. I mean, nothing is going to, once you've folded this down, it's really strong, this stuff, so it's not going to move. All the way to the end, and then all I'm going to do is, with my scissors, very carefully, I'm going to be trimming the edge. That's where the tape will finish there. So I'm going to take it to about there. So it'll be about an inch cut back. And this stuff does not fray. I'll tell you why it doesn't fray. Because the actual stiffener gives it some sort of, you know, I don't know what it is, but it gives it something which makes it not fray. It's quite brilliant. I'm quite impressed with this stuff, actually. So let me just carry on cutting. And you have to cut really straight. If you don't think you can cut straight, do a line with your pencil, and then just cut along that line, and you know that you can't go wrong then, can you? But I'm just going to cut it really straight along here, following my pattern. And it looks so neat at the back here. You know, you'd think with it not having a turn in or overlocking, it wouldn't look neat, but because of the stiffener in the fabric, it's brilliant. I mean, it couldn't be easier. There is another way of doing it where you have a rolling cutter. I've forgotten what they're called, but they look like little pizza cutters. And you could cut your piece exact and then turn in, and then you know that you've only got like a certain amount at the side that you've got to tuck in, and then the rest, you know, you've got a really, really lovely straight edge with your roller cutter. So that's that done. Now that I've cut my two sides, I'm ready to put my bottom bar in. I'm just going to put a little bit more stuff up the top here because I showed you from down there. So I'm just going to fill this little bit in with extra tape, and then there's a little bit right at the bottom that just needs redoing. And then I'm going to give it a quick press. In fact, I'll press this bit in the middle. This will now strengthen it even more by putting the heat on it, and that means it's not going anywhere. No, Sandy, it came undone. The plug was out a little bit because I'd pulled it earlier and it came out. Anyway, let's give this a really good press. That's better. I'm feeling it now. Are you feeling it? Yeah, I'm feeling it. Okay. We've got a lovely sunny day today, guys. Oh, it's just beautiful. Lovely spring day. I went to the garden centre over the weekend and I did my garden. I was out there with my pots and getting everything ready for spring, which obviously I know we're in spring, but there's some things you can't do till the end of May, but like your baskets and your trailing plants and things. But I've got all my bowls that I can put in now. Obviously you can't see anything at the minute, but by the time summer comes, that'll be sprouting out and making the garden look wonderful. Might give you a few little shots of it, you know, when I get home. Anyway, so now we're done with that. I'm just going to carry on finishing those little bits that I didn't do, and then I'll show you how to do the next stage, which is just basically putting the fabric onto the roller. Okay, so I'm now going to be putting the bottom bar in. So all you do is literally thread it through. And I've made it so that it's about an inch either side, so that it doesn't come out. Now I probably will slip stitch that closed. A lot of blinds that you buy, roller blinds, you can actually see the bottom bar. People, they don't stitch it through, but I find that a bit unprofessional. I want to make this lovely and bespoke. Because they're handmade, I want to make sure that, you know, I'm closing these little bottom bits there, and you won't have any issues with the bottom bar coming out either. So that's in. I'll slip stitch both sides. Now I'm going to put the actual blind onto the roller. Okay, so we're now going to peel off the piece of paper to reveal the sticky side. I love doing that. Think about it. It's like, you know. And then you get your top. Make sure it's very straight and you've got the same pattern going all the way along if it's patterned. Or if it, just make sure it's straight anyway. Make sure you've done it with a set square. So that, because if it's not straight, it won't hang straight. So that is... Okay, it's a little bit off there, just gone a little bit. Okay, that's better. Got that nice and flat, and then just roll it up. Now by rolling it up, this is going to make it lovely and strong at the top, and it's going to start getting it where it wants to go, kind of thing. And then all the creases, any creases that you've got in it, will come out by doing this as well. But when you stiffen your fabric with the stiffener, it makes such a difference to how the fabric hangs. You do need the stiffener, you can't do it without stiffening it. I'm thinking of making some voile roller blinds with a really lovely voile that's got stripes. So I'll stiffen that, and we'll have a go at doing that on one tutorial sometime. But let me know if you're interested in doing any sort of projects, and I'll do a tutorial. Also, someone's interested in me doing workshops, So I'm thinking that we might start the Patreon soon, which is like I don't know, £5-6 a month, and for that you'll get quite a few little benefits, as well as a workshop once a month with people that are also on Patreon, and we can all kind of talk and interact with each other, and I think that would be really lovely, really nice thing to do. Anyway, that's all done. Basically I now need to put the ends in, which I need my fitter just to give me some advice on, because I've got something that I'm not quite sure of, so I'm going to do that tomorrow. It's just really putting these up, attaching them up into the wood that's already been put together by Jack. Okay, and then so that'll be done, and then there's pelmets that will go up. Okay, so here we are installing everything, the pelmet, jabot and the roller blinds. This is the end where the chain is, and then this bit here will go, that bit there will go in here like that, and that fits to the top of the wood. You'd fit it sideways to through these holes here to your window, or you can top fix it obviously like there. But we're top fixing because we've got the wood shelf kind of scenario, like a shelf, and that's how it will sit, and then we'll have the egg bracket at the other end.
Right, so that's going to be fixed to the very top.
The very top, up, top fixing to the very top.
Brilliant. Okay.
Okay. This is my fitter putting it all up. So this is what it all looks like. Lovely. I'm really happy with it. The only thing I would say, guys and girls, if you're going to make your own roller blinds, I would probably advise you to use something thinner that doesn't have an embroidered print on it, because having such a thick fabric with such a long drop did cause us a few issues. So be mindful of that. I mean, maybe it would have been a little bit better if the drop hadn't been so long. Most roller blinds are not usually very long. They're usually about sort of 130 at the very most, and this was 210, so it was a very long drop. So be mindful of the kind of fabric you're using. I'd probably recommend a nice thin cotton, something like that, or a nice linen. That would work really well as well, especially once you're using your fabric stiffener. Also, don't forget to order your roller blind kits from Tulip Blinds, who I thoroughly recommend. This kit was very good quality and worked very well, and I would really recommend them. They're very easy to deal with, very friendly, everything gets to you really quickly. So yeah, thank you for joining us on this tutorial, and I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week. Bye!